everybody. Welcome to the panel on creating happy families. My name is Rishabh and I'm so excited to meet you all. I am 12 years young, and while I might not have all the experience about family life, I sure know one thing. Family is super important. We have some amazing panelists here and our wonderful moderator, Gayathri, Prakash. They are here to talk about what makes families happy and strong.
Let me start by saying this. It's not how big the house is, it's how happy the home is. A home without walls. And only a happy home makes for a happy child. And only a happy child will be capable of making this world, this nation, a much better place. And what constitutes a happy home? A happy family, of course. And today, we will be discussing how to create this happy family. I would love to first introduce our panelists, starting with Miss Padma Srinath, ma'am. My knees are shaking, ma'am. Please, please. So, she is a teacher by profession, specialist in early childhood development. Pure love is how one of her students describes her. A student who is a great teacher himself, Mr. Anil Srinivasan. Such is the legacy of Padma, ma'am. We all hear people say, I'm an entrepreneur, doctor, and my inspiration to become one was another one, right? But somehow the number of people who are inspired by a teacher to become a teacher themselves is a story we rarely hear. That inspiration must be so strong, a powerful influence, one stemming only from love. From Alcott Memorial School to American International School, ma'am brings a wealth of experience, having taught across two vastly different educational environments. But ma'am, I don't think...
and community environment.
Yes, community environment. But ma'am, I don't think these few lines do justice to your experience and wisdom. It's truly an honor to have you here, and truly an honor to... I don't think I'm capable enough to ask you questions, but please, yes. The next one is Miss Subha. With over 18 years as a corporate lawyer, she's already someone to look up to. But what truly blows me away is her journey as a single mother. She manages the full weight. Sorry, just a moment. Yeah. She manages the full weight of parenting, all while handling a demanding career. She works tirelessly to give her daughter the best of everything, while being the kind of role model anyone would be proud to have. And her daughter is a learner here at Quest. Subha, I can't wait to hear you and your take on, the topic for today and how you see this life. You're truly inspiring as it is. Thank you so much for being here. Yes. The next panelist is Miss Madhavi. Madhavi, that speaks volumes already, I think. Yeah. Madhavi began her journey with Quest as a volunteer in 2017, driven by a passion for hands-on learning. She soon found herself facilitating cooking workshops and realized she wanted to make this her life's work. Who wouldn't want to, right? So let's start this with our first question. In your personal experience, who is family? And how would you define a happy family? I think I would love to start with ma'am.
Concentric circles. That's what I would say. I think the fact that each of us are a composite of a man and woman, birth itself. So there starts probably the foundational definition for a family. There need to be two people who want to be together and who create more people, as simple as that. And it grows that way because through that growth comes the thread of relationships. So you have grandparents, you have cousins, you have all connected through just this facet of being married to people. That's probably the innermost dimension of a family. And if you want to call it the nucleus, it's the nucleus of what will be a family, which will be expanding beyond just these people who are connected through this concept called marriage. It will include school friends, perhaps. It might include neighbors. It will include cousin families, etc., etc. And it will go on. You may have helpers in the house and may refer to them as part of the family kind of statements. And so it is an ever expanding concept to the extent that we need to extend our needs, and the needs not just physically but emotionally as well.
So, thank you so much, ma'am. How about you, Shubha? What do you think?
I think she's covered it pretty much, but then like in my circumstance and like, in my belief, I would say it's like a small circle of people, not necessarily related by blood. It could be friends, your relatives, or the people of your choice who are like really involved in your day-to-day life, um, are well-wishers and who want the best for you.
Absolutely, and I
So,
think,
and
yeah, like a home does not have walls anymore. That's
walls
where we are
anymore.
today, right?
Correct.
So, yeah,
And a happy family, I feel, is where everybody feels loved and like, heard. Is, and I think these both are like very essential, like, for any kind of a unit, like especially family unit, I feel.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Madhavi. How about your?
I think both of them together have summed up pretty much everything I had on my mind. Of course. So for me personally, I think I would say family is not just the people at home or people you're related to by blood, but also the people that who come into your lives at different times and for whatever reason. And together you both choose to stay on and make some memories together. So I think that's a crucial part. And also people that you can lean on, those who support and cheer you every step of the way. I think all of them can be, family.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So, going into the crux of this whole thing, I've split this into three different parts: family, your education, and communication with your child and peers. So, the first one is family. Your take on strong, supportive relationships with partners, teachers, caregivers in raising children today. And can you also speak about asking for help in this regard? Maybe, Shubha, would you like to start?
I think they say, can you hear me? Okay.
Sure.
They say you need a village to raise a child. So it's very, very important to have a supportive family or friends or a circle around, like, uh, when you're raising a child. And I think it's also very important to ask for help, because whereas it's like, most of us don't like, are a little hesitant to take any kind of help. I think like being a single parent for me, I don't think I would have been able to make it without the support of my friends, family, and relatives. So I think that's very crucial to ask for help, and mostly people are very readily, like, very happily and willing to help
Yes,
when
yes.
asked. So
When asked, I think that's the right, key word here. When asked.
because
So,
people don't know, they think you may be overstepping into someone's, like,
yes,
life. So I think it's important to ask for help.
yes. I think that's the sort of persona we are also creating, to be that independent. We also want everybody to see us for being so independent. I think ma'am also had a few words earlier. We were having a little chat.
No, I
So-
think when we're talking about what is a family, constituents of a family, I think the crucial element is somebody with whom we can speak about our innermost fears as well. So, may not be the spouse, may not be parents, maybe a third person, but it is only when you get the space and still the inclusiveness of listening to your worst fears and being the scaffold for the same, I think constitute as a family. And in this dimension of people who form the family, this continuous concern, affection, and appreciation for the other elements who are looking at you as a family becomes an important bloodline between the two persons to keep you active. So the sustained kind of interaction, both ways, not just one way, I think is critical.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Madhavi, how about you? I mean, you have seen a lot of parents in your career and caregivers in your career. Could you, highlight how they come up and ask for help from, a facilitator as from your end? How does it work? I mean, can you highlight a few points that you think would make sense here?
So I think as a facilitator who has worked with so many, children right at Quest itself, asking for help I think is one of the first things that help build that trust between two people who care for the same child and have the child's best interest at heart, and is a crucial factor, I would say, in building or having that communication going as well, having that channel of communication between these two people. And it is a great feeling because, they're like, it's not just, sending your child to be here 6-7 hours a day, but they actually want you to be involved, and that is a special feeling. And for me to be able to pitch in and say, yes, absolutely, I've got your back, is a great feeling. But it's also something for the child to, feel loved and supported, and also be able to ask for help, not just from the adults in their life, but also from other people. So they do know it's not, a thing of weakness, but
Yeah.
actually something of strength to be able to lean on.
Absolutely, and I think in our conversation yesterday, ma'am used a very nice word, congruence. The alignment between the adults in a child's life is, something of great pertinence, is so important today. So that takes me to the next question. Mental health and wellness of parents and caregivers, be it the child's grandparents or the caretakers in a family. How important is it these days, and are there any tips you can give in creating a happy environment for a child while being happy ourselves? So I would love to start with you, Madhavi.
Okay. One key factor that impacts a child's, say, mood and thereby day and thereby week and learning is how happily they walk into the space in the morning, and that they're coming from the home. So how the morning goes, what happened the previous evening, all of this contribute to the happiness when they come in the morning, and of course has a big impact or huge impact on their learning for the day as well. So from experience at least, I would definitely say that this plays a huge role. And because they come in with these stories saying, we watched a movie together last night, we cooked together last night, and these are the happy memories that they've either gone to bed with or they've woken up, and bringing that to share with everybody else here is definitely a special moment, not for them but also for us to just watch when they come in with these happy stories. So I would say yes, it plays a crucial role in uh, their personality and how their day, week, month and learning go as well.
Okay, wonderful. So I would like to tweak the question a little bit for you. When I speak about mental health and wellness, to shoulder the responsibility of a child alone by itself is such a big task, right? In, not just in today's time, at any point in time in any parent's life, to shoulder it alone is so difficult. We speak a lot about me time. Do you take me time? And how do you help the people who help you raise your child? how do they do this? And, how do they also, be at par with this? They take care of their mental health. I mean, is there a method? What do you think?
Okay, thank you so much for asking this question. Okay, I think they say you can't pour from an empty cup. So it's very important as a primary caretaker of a child to be happy ourselves first. So I think it's crucial for us to take care of our health, our mental health. And as there's a lot of literature for us to learn about parenting, but still there's something we figure out on the go. And I think taking all the support and also learning about our own fear and conditioning and trying and being aware of it and trying to do our best and not operate from this place of this fear and conditioning is very important, for which I think you should also show the child how to take how you take care of yourself, the child to see that the mother taking care of or the parent taking care of themselves and having your own time, doing fun things, meeting your friends and having your own time is very, very important, because you're just showing them how to live their lives, right? So it's
Absolutely.
very, very important.
And I think you use the right word, awareness of the self. So I think that's the key here. I think that really is the key here. So, ma'am, you've seen a lot of parents over the years, a lot of families, your own. So could you highlight some things that you feel?
One of the things, very difficult things for us parents is the fact that when a child is born, okay, there's huge dependency, okay? And slowly we move into getting the child to be autonomous, do it yourself. Right from eating, from when you have to feed them and when you have to use a spoon and feed them, and then when you want them to have finger foods and eat it by themselves, and when they want to then address the plate and eat it by themselves, then they have to maneuver the fork or the knife or whatever. I think the process of this very important dimension of food is moving towards autonomy. Then comes issues related to schooling. First you will drop them at the classroom door itself. Slowly you will drop them and think, then you'll say, go on your own. Can you go by bus on your own or whatever? So we have this whole process that the child experiences of being propped up for this autonomous existence. And I think that's where we parents need to know how do we intertwine these two. Not by looking at those dimensions as chores, but to say that I love to drop you in school and wave before I go to work. Simple thing like that, it's something that I tell parents, just wave and say, I'll wait to see you in the evening or something like that. So that the joy of doing this is not a chore, but it's because I want to do it. I want to take you up to the school and so on. So this whole, it's a relationship building in terms of the qualitative facet of the relationship,
right,
and the interactions that go with it. And that is what suffers when we lead busy lives. That is what suffers when we have timelines which become very crucial at times, and we have to do this, the child has to do something else. He has to be picked up at school 12:30, but I can't come out at 2 o'clock to pick up this child. There are many of these little things, and that becomes an anxiety within us. So can we arrange a bus? Can we arrange an auto rickshaw, whatever to do it? And so all these kind of little things which starts making for this sense of autonomy being on their own. So the biggest concerns that I've had with my child is how do we feel together? When do we feel together? And how do we express it? So to be able to do little things. And one of the things that I found very, very interesting was to have board games in the house. I think that's a very nice way of relating to children. And of course, they'll turn around when you pay palanguri and say, you're cheating, I don't want to play with you. And all that will all happen, part of the game, but it happens. And then you live your life just playing the game and learning about it. To have activity that goes beyond the realm of things like schooling or whatever it is, as a participative input. I think that becomes the key, that we will eat as a family rather than feed the child and then we can eat later kind of dimensions which make it a little different. I think those are the things that bring the group together. And during those times, not be silent spectators, but to talk about what's been happening in the day and what are the concerns or what happened, how did you deal with whatever happened, and so on and so forth. That's what.
Absolutely, ma'am. I think that's a really good takeaway for us as parents, right? So, we be involved not because it's thrown at us, but, so naturally just, touch. I mean, just go within and see that this is the natural course and way.
And it's very common when children eat where we say, stop talking and eat your food now.
Finish your food. Yes. I do that many times myself.
We all do. We all do that. Just be aware not to do it too often. And keep that mouth only for eating, not for talking.
Not food, no talking. So that takes me to the next question. I mean, beautifully, it's just transitioning, This has been there for generations. I don't think there is one solution to this at all. How does one balance work and family life? Now that we're speaking about the happiness of a family, specifically regards to child, but I also want to extend it. How do we balance work and family life, especially given the age and time? We are so connected at all points in time that even when we are back from work, even if we are working from home or physically, I mean, when you come back, you're still on your phone or on your laptop or on your whatever device is trying to connect, ensuring everything is fine back there, whereas we are missing out on what is happening at home in front of us. So how do we balance this from your personal experiences? And I would love for you to talk to me about it as a facilitator, because I'm sure you've heard many stories that, have been coming your way. I will first start with Subha. Can you, I mean, you've been doing this for,
So again, like taking all the help you can, like taking the support of family, and even like after this pandemic where things have gotten slightly flexible, you can work from home and the children are at home, and we have a facility like Quest, and still like I think it's very important to carve out certain special moments in a day. Like for example, for me and my daughter, it's always when I'm driving. That time is so special. Like we both are like captive audience to each other. So that's when we really, I mean, it's changed over time now. She just doesn't want to talk to me. She just has her headphones on. But that used to be our special moment, like, where we used to like ask about each other's day. We don't there's no phone. I'm just focusing on the road. And then we just like take out that every day about like 1 or 2 hours. Used to be our special moment. And then where like I'm really committed to just being there with her and like, talking to each other. And 24/7 is difficult. Like, when you're at home, you're doing your own thing. While ensuring the safety, you're like around her, but still you can't be always communicating. She's doing her own thing. Absolutely. And when they're teenagers, they just go into their room and they shut the door and they don't want to see your face. But these are the moments that help me bond. And balancing work, and this is like by taking out my time with the child and taking all the support of friends, family, and like even the community here. Like when pre-pandemic, my daughter was coming to Quest after school, like 3 or 4 days a week, and for almost a year it was Madhavi and Rags who dropped her home. So without people's help and support, I don't think it's possible to really balance things. So I would say taking help and carving out these moments, these two things have helped me, and I think it's very important.
Absolutely. And I would love to hear from your perspective.
Actually, taking off from what Shubha did share, like you and Mitra, using that drive as the time that you bond, that's probably just one of the things you do see, but what the child sees is a world of activities or things that you do together, which we get to hear so much about on the everyday. it might be something that the parent was just, it was a by the way thing for them, but it really made their day. And they talk to us about it. And when we do share it with the parent again, they're like, oh, really? They enjoyed that? Because the feedback, like she said, she didn't even feel like, she wanted to share with me. She had her headphones on. But something, impacts them, or gets them feeling that, oh yes, I have my mom for this, or I have my dad for this. And when we do share all these lovely heartwarming stories back with the parents, I think it kind of makes them want to do more of that with the child, and then they consciously carve out time to do those things together as well.
It's amazing. I think, this whole idea of balancing work and, the effort really matters. I think effort is what shines through with a child, them seeing that you're doing. I've heard sometimes my son come in, when I irritate him, he comes to me, he's like, can you go back to work? But, somewhere he knows I'm always watching and, I'm doing something for him. I think the effort truly matters. Ma'am, your take on this? You've seen.
My take on it is that the home will be the home, the dad will be the dad, the mom will be the mom. Stop making noise, I'm on the computer kind of scenarios.
Yeah.
And I think the blessing in the whole scenario are early childhood centers. I think where people take, creches which take young children, and there's a lot of child-related activity that goes on, and hopefully there's a very loving, adult over there. Usually they are helpful, and they learn to get together with those little children, and it gives them a sense of happy feeling. I would assume that their, hormonal system and all is being pleased by whatever they see, play and so on. And I think in schools also now, they take children from when they're 2.5, and I think that makes for a lot of activity that goes into the child, and then they get tired, and then they're ready to sleep for a little while. And then when the parents come back, then there's enough energy for the child not to be nagging or difficult or whatever it is. So the ability at that point in time to share, while a parent may not be able to share his whatever work he does. I remember when my son was about 3 years old once, and he insisted on going to my husband's office and so on. He came back and he said, Daddy tells all lies to you. You think he goes to work? He doesn't. Yesterday he sat and I counted 1, 2, smoked 6 cigarettes. That's all he did. Okay. And oh my God, that turned such a whirlwind in my head to see how do children perceive work itself.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there just kind of typing or dictating or whatever it is. And that's not work as far as this little fellow is concerned. Yeah. He was told that he works in factory which has lathes and it's very tiring, and all the stuff comes every day, that don't bring me the book now, I'm very tired today, go to mommy kind of stories, So I think there's a lot of this kind of perception that happens within little children, and they're not just somebody who's waiting to just lap in what you're going to do or tell, but they also want to know what's the world like. I have always held with my young teachers that the child's focus is not just those two parents, but he's trying to make sense of the world around him. And there are so many things. Why does that crow sit there and caw every morning? If he's calling, we have to answer him no. That was my son's response, little kid. And questions like this, they're making sense of the, whatever. Why did that chap overtake and you say we can't overtake in the car? Whatever, somebody will go. So they're observant. They have an eye on everything and a ear everywhere. And they're trying to make sense of it. For us to telescope it into a very minute thing that we show them and just show that one star in the sky is not going to satisfy that inner dimension of wanting to know what is the world like. And that, I think, brings me to my pet horse, right, which is stories. As important as your diet, I think, are stories for young children. 1, 2, 3, you'll never overfeed them. but make it as part of, as important as you think protein is, stories are.
Amazing, ma'am. Amazing, amazing.
Thank you.
Really. It's an eye-opener. You know, as important as, you know, feeding them is,
Yes.
feeding a story is also as important.
Yes.
Wonderful, ma'am.
Thank you.
So, because we are a little short on time, I'm just going to rush through the next set of questions. The first, we will start with education. How important is it to choose the right educational process? Like it was a suggestion from ma'am that I use the word process, in impacting us, in aligning us with our family values. How important is it to choose the right schooling? I think many parents here, you know, are also looking at shifting. So how important is it? Ma'am, I would again start with you.
Sure. Understanding the education system by a parent is very critical. It's not just something that will get him into getting a degree at some point in time in his life. I think that isn't it. I think the education system itself, the way you guide the autonomous mind of a child, is dictated by the way he conducts himself or he's allowed to conduct himself in a schooling process. If it is there, sit down, fingers on your lips, and listen to what I say. Miss, but you said that has got 3 points. No, it hasn't. Don't talk in between. Listen to what I'm telling. If that's the kind of instruction and they're expected to learn, then I'm sorry, they're going to feel contrived and they're going to feel miserable about the whole thing. So the better thing, if I've got to survive here, because my mother's not going to change the school, I just learn by heart and give my answers. I don't care it happens right or wrong in my head. But I think it's the head that matters. And there are lots of things going on in a child's head on a daily basis, other than just his, what did they do in math and English and whatever. The children, there are people, there are teachers, and they're interacting. They're interacting 6 hours in the school. There must be a lot that happens, right? There must be a lot of things that they like, they don't like, they doubt, they want to know more. All these issues, I think, again, that interaction, to be part of that entire scenario, not by going to the school and sitting there with them, but for them to relate, because then it'll be their perspective. And therefore you get a feel of what are they perceiving. If you need to change their perspective, that's your opportunity. That's your opportunity to say, maybe you're not looking at it. It didn't happen like that when I was in school, you know. So I really wonder, do you think we should come to your school and talk to you? No, don't come. Then you don't go. If he says, yes, go and have a chat. Jolly well have a chat. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. So,
Okay.
So Shubha, can you tell us, I mean, a lot of parents here really want to understand your story as well. Can you tell us what made you make that change from a traditional school into Quest? Because that I think will inspire a lot of parents here to, you know, make a decision. So could you tell us how important was this educational process for you?
Okay, so my daughter was going to a Montessori school from the age of 2.5. She was very happy, like the elementary and, the primary and the early elementary was quite good. Then 2020, when she was 8, pandemic hit, where the hands-on education was lost. The 2 years of her Montessori years were lost. Things turned to online. And Montessori was completely against technology, where the school and both my daughter were struggling. So, that's when I started questioning, like, should we, like, just, like, stick to one? I thought, like, I should explore other things. I think from 2017, my daughter has already been with Quest as an after school. She was very happy. And I think in 2022 or 21, they came up with a full-time program. I had my own doubts, like, should I really like this space. My daughter loves it, but still had my own doubts and fear, not doubt also, it was fear
Absolutely.
of, like, switching her to a different system. So we took our time, and it was my daughter's decision, not mine.
Okay.
My daughter decided to join Quest. And I asked her like some thousands of questions, like, what about, this is a very small place, like you just have had hardly any 20 students. You're moving from a school of about like 400 to 20. Will you be able to make friends here? She was like, I mean, wherever I go, I'm just going to have 4 friends. It doesn't matter.
Wow. What wisdom at this age.
Yeah.
My God.
So in fact, she was the one who convinced me to
Wow.
put her in Quest, and I'm really happy I
My
took
God. My God. What clarity in thought these children come with. My God.
yeah. So the credit goes to her, not me. It was her decision. I'm happy,
No, the credit goes to you because you were listening to her. You were
it's important
listening
to
to
trust
what
them
she
also,
wanted. Yes.
so.
Credit goes to the Montessori system, which allowed the clarity to be there.
No, of course it did. Of course, yeah.
Absolutely right, ma'am. So I would pick your brains on the same topic. So how important is picking the right schooling system or educational process for a child
Okay.
and a family?
Okay. So, for most of the parents who do come to Quest, one of the primary reasons being that they went through the conventional mode of schooling and education and they didn't see much value in it, and they don't want to repeat that for their children as well. But another key factor being looking at homeschooling as a means of strengthening the bonds that they have at home and between the parent and the child as well, because they say, we did this together and I enjoyed it, my child enjoyed it, and I saw how happy they were to keep coming back to that versus how unhappy they were to go to another place and learn, at a school, or we're probably doing the same thing. They're probably doing math at school, they're probably doing math with me. But this really makes a difference. And our Monday mornings together or Sunday evenings together, doing math or reading these books together and bonding over that, listening to these podcasts together, that's what I want my child to be experiencing, and for them to be happy. And I think something like unschooling or a homeschooling environment gives me that flexibility, and that's what I want for my child as well. And then, yeah, they decide to probably make that shift from a conventional mode to more alternate education.
Wonderful. Just one more quick question, just to add to that. From a practical point of view,
Yeah.
is every day a happy day for a child?
At Quest, I would say for most of the children, yes, because when we do declare a holiday, like on Monday is a holiday because we're all taking a break after these events, and all of them are like, "Why? No, we don't want a holiday."
Wow.
So, yeah, we have a rain holiday or a sudden government mandate. The kids are all the first ones to protest, and so I would probably like to, yeah, confidently say that yes, at Quest, all of our learners are mostly happy every day.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, to do that for a child is something else altogether. Can I take 10 or 15 more minutes? Is that okay? Or 10, okay. So we'll make this even quicker. So one of the main things that I learned as a parent was to create routines for my child after seeing so much tantrums, especially during holidays or their weekends or something like that. The child goes through a lot in the mind, and I figured later on that it was because I was not creating routines for the child. Ma'am, can you briefly tell us, what you think about the importance of routine in a child's development?
Life is routine. The sun never fails to rise. Sun never fails to set. Seasons never change itself. Summer doesn't say, oh, I'd rather go in December. I don't like going in this April, right? I think we're living in a scheme of routine. And I think right from birth, the children, the infant, I shouldn't call it children, the infant demands a routine which only perhaps circles around feed and sleep or whatever, but it's a routine. If that routine is missed, you have a lot of yelling and crying and all the rest of it, which tells you very clearly, I want a routine. Okay? And therefore, I think routine seems to be a very nicely accommodated idea within us. And when you have a routine, it's very predictable. And predictability is more often nice than non-predictability, right? There are many things that need to be predictable rather than unpredictable. If that said in such general terms is kind of, good enough, every child must have a routine of when to eat, when to sleep, when to play, when to become quiet in the house with a book, if you have somebody working on a computer and having something important. You can't be coming, no, tell me story now, and all that is not accepted. It's not story time, just go and sit there with your book kind of routine kind of stuff that happens. But a routine allows us to, I think, align with our own way our body works.
Absolutely.
It's a criticality, I think, because the body functions very much by routine, no? 85% at least by routine. If that's the kind of thing, then we like to align with everything else with a routine, non-routine at least. And I think for a change, you don't mind a Sunday where you're lazing out till 8 in the morning or whatever in bed or whatever it is, or Saturday you're watching a movie till the midnight. I'm not talking of one of those odd days, but I think by and large, if you can align 85% of the child or even adults into a routine, it makes for predictability. Predictability tends to make our work life easier.
Very
Less
true, ma'am.
stressful, let me put it
Absolutely,
like that. So,
absolutely. So because we are a little oh, I think it deserves a big round of applause. So there are two more questions, so I'll just take one with each one of you, so we get to the next segment. So helicoptering, have you heard of the term helicoptering? So helicoptering is a term that we often use to describe our style of parenting these days, right? We always want to be connected with what the child is doing. Where do we draw that line as parents, and how far should educational institutes go with regards to communication? I think I'll take that up with you. So if you can tell me more about how we should learn to draw that line with children. Helicoptering is not something that should be in practice as much, right? So what do you think? What is your take?
At Quest, we do encourage parents and learners to communicate, honestly and firmly with not just each other but with us as well. And it is, we place a lot of emphasis on the child's perspectives and opinions, and getting the parents to see that there is value in what your child has to say, or like you just pointed out earlier, the clarity in thought. So if they can just take a step back to experience what we are experiencing, that clarity, that confidence, that happy child that we get to see every day, it would be really, eye-opening for you. So if you do want to give that a shot, now would be a good time, is something we do keep trying to communicate as well.
Wonderful. And the last question I have is about our new intruder, right? Technology. So, how can families use technology to bring each other closer rather than, set us apart?
So I'll talk about my own experience in this. So I suck at technology, okay? And my daughter is too good. She's too good a hacker as well. I try to put password, she
Oh my.
hacks. So my brother manages her gadgets. He sets a time. So, I mean, he keeps me informed about her hours, she spends on YouTube, and, see the parental control. So I think this has really helped me, No, she knows it. She's aware of it. And so whenever she comes to me asking for to extend time, I'm like, I don't know how to do it. And she has to call my brother, and without my authorization, he would not allow
So
it.
ignorance is bliss as well.
Yeah, I mean, this has also brought me closer to my brother. He's like,
Wow.
So that's what I
That's
meant
so
to say.
nice.
That,
I mean,
this has brought
that's
us,
amazing.
you know. closer together. So I would
Absolutely.
like,
A lovely perspective, actually. When we are so focused on the child all the time, it brings the others together.
others together, like, so this is like really helped me. So I would say like technology has brought my siblings closer to me, and like in supporting me with
Wow.
technology.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's really wonderful. So, I have about 6 rapid fire questions. I think we'll just go, maybe 2 to 3 words for each would be great. I'll start with ma'am. What tone of communication should we develop with our children, ma'am?
A continuous communication in all the fields that the child is interested in.
Wonderful.
Not the other way around, not what you're interested in, what child is.
Wonderful. 3 values that you feel are a must to, inculcate in a child.
Compassion, kindness. I think they both are the same. Compassion, kindness, and confidence.
Wonderful. And what's the one value you live by every day?
I would say, I think, trust.
Trust. Okay. Wonderful. Ma'am, early mornings or late nights, the best time to communicate with children?
No late nights.
No, now I recently watched a video. They're like, oh, your child is not listening. Maybe when they're sleeping, you whisper in their ears. I haven't tried it. Now I wonder if I should.
don't even know about early morning, but I think there are times when a child can, the proximity of being next to you, either on your lap or with your hand on his shoulder, is the best time.
Wow, wonderful, ma'am.
Get an ice cream, get a lollipop, I don't know, whatever else. One for you to lick and one for me to lick. When I lick, you talk. When you lick, I talk.
Wonderful. The most important trait you want to see in your daughter?
Kindness.
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 Wonderful. And success in one word. I think coming from a facilitator would make, sorry for putting so much weight, but
I think personally, when you're proud of what you've done or what you've achieved, that can be success, and
The
rather than what others have to say about what you've done.
acceptance of, achievements. I
Yes.
think a lot of us lack that. When somebody comes to praise us, we're always saying, oh, no, 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 no. I don't deserve the praise, right? So, wonderful. I think it's been an amazing session.
I think there's one
Yes, ma'am.
thing that we've probably missed as a term dealing with children. We have to help children to understand what empathy is. I think empathy is a critical feature in life for many situations that we encounter. That's one of the things. But the second thing is young children tend to experiment the world of movement with a little meanness. They see an ant, they want to crush it. If they see something else, they want to poke and see. They see a dog, they want to check if they can pull his ears or whatever. There are little things they do. Maybe it's an exploration, but I think that's where the concept of empathy has to come, and it has to be, definitely has to be an active conversation dimension.
Absolutely. And they also listen, ma'am, starting at a young age. I recently had one, I'm sorry, I'm taking a minute or two more. I recently had an incident where I always tell them, don't hurt the, insect that's moving around. Just allow it to be, pick up a paper, let them outside or something. So I'd gone to somebody else's house, and my son saw an ant crawling around, and he was looking at it, and, what should I do? What should I do? Before I answered, the other person said, kill it. And then he was like, no, you should not kill it. Let it just be. We can just watch it walk around. So, somewhere, the happiness of seeing them also understand, empathy is such an important value to inculcate in our day-to-day lives. I mean, speaking about it, being an example for our children is so very important.
One of the biggest examples that I've got in my life is when my daughter was about 5 years, 6 years old. And I was reading a story, I think I was reading Kabuliwala or something like that from Tagore's story. And I was reading, and we both were looking, of course, in a different direction. And there was this point about Kabuliwala being arrested and stuff like that. And then I continued to read. Wait, let me cry. No, then you can read. I must skin still stands straight when I remember that moment, because it was a moment of unadulterated empathy for a story being read that has happened years ago.
My God. My God. They are all just, absorb.
They absorb, sponges.
Yes.
And you have to realize it.
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
It's been a pleasure speaking with all of you, having a
pleasure
wonderful
to us
conversation.
too.
I
Yeah.
go back with so many things I can, use as a parent with my
Nice.
child, and inspirational. Thank you so much for
Nice,
being here.
nice.
Thank you, Shantini, for having me here. It's been a great honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you all.
Wow, wow, wow. Wasn't that an amazing conversation? Yes or no?
Suit, we have
Was
to
it-
give it the due respect.
I've learned so much. Probably when I go back home, I'll take some tips to win the battle for the TV remote. So I've learned how to create a happy family, and thank you to our panelists and moderators for sharing their perspectives and thoughts. So let's give that a round of applause. And thank you to all of you for being such an awesome audience. That also needs another round of applause. So, yeah, that's basically.
We have something for the panelist and the moderator. The kids made these. So, one. You can give this to Padma. So, the kids at Quest. For Madhavi. Here. Madhavi, you can probably show what the kids at Quest made. So these are handmade by the kids. They made it for all the panelists. It's a clock. Maitu made Madhavi's clock. Okay, thank you all. We are having the quiz right now here. So we'll have a 10-minute tea break and you guys can come back for the quiz. Thank you.